What is going on, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video. We're here for a double predictions video. We were just here last week doing predictions for AEW All In. Now we're here a week later, and not only do we have to predict AEW All Out, but we're also doing predictions for WWE Payback. It is a loaded holiday weekend. We got college football coming back. We got a WWE Premium live event. I always specify that now. I'm that asshole. We got an AEW pay-per-view that a lot of people are disappointed in, but I'm not one of those people. And I will say this. I don't think I will ever complain about too much wrestling. I'm somebody that can multitask and watch and go catch up on a lot of things. So I'm not going to complain too much. But I understand that the normal person probably does not want to go through this, but they might. So who knows? So in this, I'll be providing my predictions for WWE Payback 2023 and AEW All Out 2023. Now, I will say this. I am filming this Saturday morning. There's a great possibility that something else is added to these events, probably All Out, because Collision is taking place. I won't lie to y'all. I'll be DVR and Collision, catching up on that after Payback. But if something like drastic happens, which it might, I'm going to put it in the comments. So I'll be in the comments of this video, hopefully. So talking about Payback, first of all, I won't lie. It kind of, if you watch my videos, I love using the word weird because the word weird you can depict as a good thing or a bad thing. It's just how you look on it. But I feel this is the first WWE Premium live event that hasn't had that special feeling this year. Because if you go back, Royal Rumble is Royal Rumble. Everybody cares about the Royal Rumble. There's a lot of suspense behind that event. Elimination Chamber was a great event. Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn was such a highly anticipated and wanted match that it made that event feel special. And we had 2 nights of WrestleMania. We had Backlash, which had Bad Freaking Bunny competing on it and was in Puerto Rico, and that had that special feeling. Then we had Night of Champions. We crowned the first world champion there. Money in the Bank was in London, which we also just had another pay-per-view in London. But Money in the Bank was in London, and then we just had SummerSlam. And I feel I might have forgot something, but if I did, then I just wasted a whole minute lying about stuff. But this is the first event where there's not that, like, John Cena is supposed to be hosting. I don't know what the hell that means. I just imagine he will appear throughout the night, but I don't know what the hell hosting means. Especially because Bad Bunny is supposed to host Backlash, and then he had a match. So, it is what it is. It's going to be what's going to be, as John Cena would say. But it also, the other weird thing is, I looked at this card. There's 6 matches at the moment. It is a mainly Raw card. Except for one match, it is like Raw talent. So let's go through this. The first matchup, LA Knight, versus The Miz. Now, I know LA Knight is a SmackDown talent, but he's been appearing on Raw because he can apparently do what he wants to because he won the Slim Jim Battle Royale. I think LA Knight's going to win this. I would imagine there's no way in hell he doesn't. He's got so much momentum going for him. And this is a first, I'm not going to say it's a first big event match because it's his first big singles match, because the last 2, he was in the Money in the Bank, he was in the Battle Royal. This is a big spotlight on him, that I expect him to win. Next is a Steel City street fight for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Days, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. I won't lie. Dominic Mysterio might be in this match. I'm pretty sure it's the other 2. I only wrote down the Judgment Day. Now, I will say, I do expect a title change here. I was saying last month at SummerSlam that I really wanted Finn to win because I really was expecting the Judgment Day to have, like, all their people in the group have a championship or have some, I don't want to call the Money in the Bank. Possession, I guess I should say. And now the case is going to be like that, but now it's at the expense of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who I just felt haven't had the best tag team title run, mainly due to injury, and they just haven't really had that big spotlighted match, and this could be that, so maybe I'm just lying, but I feel there's a lot going in the Judgment Day's favor, and I expect them to win this. They're also on the poster for the event, so I hope I'm wrong with that, but I want to predict the Judgment Day, mainly for the visual of all of them having championships. And again, the main reason I would be upset with that is because Damian Priest already has the Money in the Bank briefcase. He doesn't need a championship. But we shall see. Next, another Judgment Day member is competing for the Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. Again, I feel that Rhea's title reign hasn't really had that big match, because the only things I can remember are those Natalya matches, and I think one of them wasn't even like a match. It was just like she attacked her, and then they was like, all right, well, that happened. So hopefully this is a lengthy match, and it is competitive and good. I imagine that it will be, and I expect Rhea Ripley to win it. Next, the lone SmackDown match for the United States Championship, Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory. I do say this a lot. Doesn't mean that it always is right, but Rey just won this championship. So I'm going to hope that he retains it as well, and I can see him facing Santos Escobar down the line and losing it to him, but I'm just going to hope they didn't have like the shock title change, and then boom, he's just going to lose it again. For Austin Theory, there you go. Next, probably the match I'm looking forward to the most. Steel cage match. Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. I'm picking Becky Lynch. She needs a big victory. This would be a very big victory. I felt this rivalry has gone on for a very long time. I feel a lot of people also think that, but hopefully this is the dramatic and great conclusion to this. And the main event match, the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to predict Seth. I think they want him to have a longer title reign. That way, like this first champion for the World Championship, it was a long title reign, and it's like historic. If Nakamura won, I would not be complaining. But also, like I said, I anticipate the Judgment Day winning. I don't think they want all their champions on their brands to be heels, so that's why I'm going to lean towards Seth winning. But if he was to lose, I don't think I would complain. I might say something like, oh, man, I don't know. But it's Nakamura. I'd be intrigued by it. So maybe they do a rematch next month at Fastlane. Because I feel that this rivalry is just now beginning, which I could say that about a lot. But also on the show, like I said, John Cena is hosted. I don't really know what that means. And we'll have a Grayson Waller effect with Cody Rhodes. Again, I don't really even know what that means. It does, again, Cody Rhodes is the biggest star on Raw, and I won't say the WWE because they still have Roman Reigns, but it's like, you could have put him in a match, you could have put him in a program. It's just like this pause period for him because he hasn't really done much since SummerSlam. So I don't think that was a smart thing. But they're going to have to do something. This is something I was thinking of before I started talking this video. We're getting into football season, and football season affects both of these companies now. Raw has always been affected by Monday Night Football and it being a bigger deal. And I said, this is mainly a Raw event. They're going to have to pick up. Raw has felt very stale since SummerSlam. Like, nothing like, oh my God, worthy has happened. So hopefully this is like the turning point, and it is electric and great stuff. Must see every week, or at least like something big is happening. That way we're forced to tune in and care about it. And I feel Cody Rhodes probably would play a big part in that. And like this past month, he hasn't done any of that, in my opinion. So hopefully things change after this event. But now we get to the other company, AEW, and All Out 2023. Again, I mentioned from the top, a lot of people were complaining about this event because a lot of freaking energy from the fans and I guess from the people booking it went into All In last week, which makes sense because it's their biggest show of all time. And now this show kind of feels a bit neglected, but I was also looking at the All In card and I'm like, almost all the same. The main people of note that aren't competing on this card that competed last week. And again, I know I'm going to forget somebody, or y'all would say, well, you didn't mention this guy or girl. It is what it is. But like, Hook, but to be fair, he doesn't compete on every pay-per-view. Britt Baker, which I don't even know, I was going to lie, she hasn't competed on every pay-per-view, but it is what it is. There's no main women's title match. There is a TBS title match, but there's no women's title match, which Saraya / Paige here, as I refer to her, won it. I could complain about that for a while, but I'm not. Probably, I know I'm forgetting somebody. I know I shouldn't have done this because I'm not looking it up, and I know I'm forgetting it off my head. But there's one massive name that lives and breathes this city that is not competing as of right now. CM Punk. Oh boy. I don't want to say, since I've made YouTube videos, CM Punk has been a controversial figure for AEW, and I've always danced around the backstage stuff. I always try to talk about the on-screen stuff. And so, because like a lot of the backstage stuff, it's just like we never really know what's true, what's not true, what happened, what didn't happen, and at the end of the day, it's just stuff that doesn't concern me. But again, a lot of that now is reflecting onto the real life, the stuff that we actually see, and whatnot. The moral of the story is, I do have a video planned on talking about CM Punk in AEW next week because I feel it's a fitting time because it's his 2-year anniversary in the company that he might not be in because he might have quit. But as of right now, he is not on the show. And if he is on the show, a lot of people will be I don't think anybody would be mad that if he was on the show. I think a lot of people would be happy. But a lot of people would be mad at, like, just to be mad. But again, there's a lot of things that happened or didn't happen. I'll talk more about that next week. But as of right now, CM Punk is not on the show. And if he gets added to the show, I'll talk about it in the comments, like I said. But right now, we have 9 matches announced, so I'm going to go through them. Again, I'm going to say this for the last time. I expect more things to be added, so I'm just going to talk and predict about what has been announced so far. First matchup, Eddie Kingston and Katsuyori Shibata versus Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Now, in my Arch TV review, I spoke on, like, this match was teased at Supercard of Honor earlier this year because Claudio beat Eddie in the main event, and then Wheeler Yuta came out, and we thought that he was going to attack, and he didn't because Katsuyori Shibata came out, and then they just kind of stared at each other. Since then, Eddie, at any chance that he can say, tells you how much he hates Claudio, and this is another chance for him to get his hands on Claudio. I'm going to predict Eddie Kingston, Katsuyori Shibata win because A, both of them are current champions. Eddie is the New Japan Strong Openweight champion, and Katsuyori Shibata is the current Ring of Honor Pure champion. And B, this is just me fantasy booking, but something that I could think is realistic. I think they're going to do Eddie versus Claudio for the ROH World title soon. Now, ROH doesn't have a pay-per-view announced, and there's a lot of ROH related. There's several ROH matches on the show, this being one of them. I think a lot of AEW fans I've seen over like the past 2 years have been pushing for Eddie Kingston to get this big world title win at Grand Slam because it's in his hometown. He's from New York. I almost said Yonkers. I think it's Yonkers. And we were teased with getting Eddie and Claudio at Death Before Dishonor because that was supposed to be the first match, and then Eddie was in the G1. So I think it's just me fantasy booking and possibly predicting that we're going to see Eddie Kingston versus Claudio at Grand Slam this year, and Eddie's going to win the Ring of Honor World title. It also makes sense for him to have because he's already the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. If he had 2 championships, it adds to him. And it's just like, when you're a champion for another company, you don't lose that much, especially when you're not. What is the best way to put this? He's a New Japan champion in AEW. He's not going to lose that much. He's going to win a lot. So now, if you add another championship to him, it makes sense, and then they could have that third and final match. I would prefer it be at Final Battle and a Fight Without Honor, but if they have another AEW or ROH big show in between now and Final Battle, you can do it then, but that's just me fantasy booking / predicting what I think is going to happen. So, next matchup. Oh my god, my internet just went out, but it does not affect this video. Next, Miro versus Powerhouse Hobbs. This has felt like a very weird build because it's been on and off on Collision, and then they had the segment at All In, which I had missed because I did not know the pre-show for All In was like an hour before, and I never went back and watched to see what fully happened. But I think Miro's going to win. I think he needs the big victory because it's been a while since we've seen a big-time Miro matchup. So I'm going to predict Miro. Next, Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. I just dropped the thing I was fondling with. I'm going to predict Kenny Omega. This hopefully sparks a big Kenny Omega singles run because the past year we've been seeing him in trios action mainly and on and off. Like when he was U.S. champion for New Japan, we'd see the occasional singles match. But hopefully this sparks a Kenny Omega singles run to take place. Next, probably the weirdest match on the show, Bullet Club Gold versus FTR and the Young Bucks. I'm going to predict Bullet Club Gold. They've got a lot of momentum going for them. And FCR and Young Bucks don't like each other, so I don't know why they would work well as a team. Also don't really know why we are having this match, because if Bullet Club Gold wins, hypothetically you'd think, oh, they're going to get a tag team title shot. Well, guess what? They've already had like 2. Well, they had 1. I keep forgetting like the first match they had was not for the tag titles, and when I saw they won, I'm like, oh my god, they're tag teams, and then they didn't. Then they had the very good, almost hour-long match on Collision, but it's just like, I want to see Jay White compete for singles gold. I don't want to see him in a tag team, especially when this group already has a tag team in the Gun Club, Gun Ass Boys, whatever they're called. So I'm going to predict Bullet Club Gold. Next, now the rest of these matchups are for gold. Hopefully you like that. First one being the TNT title match, Luchasaurus versus Darby Allin, a match that's been announced for like over a month because Darby won the Royal Rampage Battle Royal. So it's very weird for them to like have him win. I would imagine a lot of people are like, how did Darby become? I don't know if many would be like, oh yeah, he did win that match. So this is actually a difficult match to predict because I've enjoyed Christian Cage's TNT title run and I don't want to see that end. And Darby has already been a several-time TNT champion. We don't really need that, but I also would think it would make Darby look like a huge loser and idiot if he lost. So this is a lose-lose situation because I don't want Darby to look like an idiot and I don't want Christian to lose his championship. I'm going to predict this. Normally when I predict with my brain and not my heart. I'm going to predict Luchasaurus because it's kind of a combination of both. Because I think, logically, I don't think people want to see Christian's title reign end. And I feel Darby has more things to do than worry about the TNT Championship again. And I already wrote in a pen, but I was like, I could change that now. I'm not now. All right. Next, for the TBS Championship, we have Chris Statlander versus Ruby Soho. I feel that Chris Statlander's title reign is just now beginning, and Ruby Soho, the Outcast, have their own things they need to worry about. I don't think Ruby being the TBS Championship is going to change or affect any of that, and I'd rather see Statlander keep the championship. Next, for the Ring of Honor Television Championship, Samoa Joe versus Shane Taylor. I am predicting Samoa Joe. When he is competing on ROH, they've mentioned that he is one of the longest reigning TV champions, and I don't think they want to end that until he actually... That would actually be crazy, because I'm pretty sure he's still the longest world champion. So to have the longest 2 major singles titles reigns in Ring of Honor would actually be pretty impressive, and I think they'd be willing to do that. Next, for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, Better Than You Baby versus the Dark Order's Alex Reynolds and John Silver. I'm picking Better Than You Baby. They literally just won the freaking championships. I hope they make at least one, because I review Ring of Honor every week. I hope they make at least one appearance on Ring of Honor. If they made a title defense, I would clap and applaud on that review. But I just want one appearance at least. And it would kind of make them look like idiots if they just lose the titles right away. But I wouldn't be that surprised because the Dark Order have been regularly competing on Ring of Honor opposed to in AEW. So I wouldn't be that surprised if they lost, but I'm going to hope that they win. And then the main event matchup, and even if, I will stand on this, and I was saying this beforehand, even if a CM Punk match is added, I hope this still main events. I know it was announced as the main event, but I was saying this before they announced this as the main event. For the International Championship, Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley. Probably the 2 hardest working competitors in AEW. Orange Cassidy has had a great, almost year-long title reign with this International Championship. And Jon Moxley has done this before with the World Championship, Interim World Championship, and even without the championship. So I feel it's the 2 I don't want to say workhorses, but it fits this. So I will say workhorses of this company competing. I am going to predict Jon Moxley because Orange Cassidy, they've kind of sold more that like Orange Cassidy is beat up and like he's ready. I'm not gonna say he's ready to move on, but if he was to lose, you wouldn't be that surprised, especially when you're going against Moxley, who they're almost virtually identical, as Mike Goldberg would say in their work attitudes. And it's kind of like the International Championship is the title that is defended every week. Or like the TNT title is kind of like the title where they'll build a storyline with it. Where the international title, I'm going to go out to that ring. You put anybody else out there, we're going to face them. And both of these guys fit that mold. And Orange Cassidy has done this for over almost a year now. So I applaud him for that. And I feel that Jon Moxley will continue that mold. And hopefully he can do that for a long time as well. So I'm going to predict Jon Moxley. But as I say several times, if Orange Cassidy wins, I wouldn't complain. So, like I said, as of right now, these are all the matches announced for both of these events. Hopefully, we have a safe holiday weekend and enjoy both of these shows. Like I said, I plan on making a video talking about CM Punk because I've put it off for way too long, and I feel like the anniversary of him coming to AEW would be a fitting time to do it, considering the same old shit keeps happening. So we'll see if that happens next week. I plan on it. Doesn't mean I will do it. So again, have a safe holiday weekend. Please like and subscribe. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video.